Humans all need relationships, whether it's the relationship with a significant other, friends, your parents, and yourself. If those relationships aren't established in a means that is beneficial not only to yourself, but to everyone else, then you are doing a disservice to them and yourself. And if you aren't offering the best version of yourself to your relationships, then you are taking away from the opportunities that you have the opportunity to get. So what is it that you want to accomplish? Do you want to have successful relationships? And if you do, how do you establish that? Is it that you hold yourself accountable, or do you give yourself excuses? One of the two options is either going to give you a quality relationship with the others and yourself, or in the other, that the one option that you give excuses is now destroying everything that you've ever dreamed of. The people that count on you, the people that look up to you, the examples that you set are being destroyed. You have an opportunity right now to step up to the plate and establish a relationship and show them that you are a quality person. If you're married, be the man, be the example. Give the woman that you love a man that she can trust, a man that she can feel safe in. Be the man that you should be. I want to thank you for joining me at the Man Up and Own It podcast. I'm Christopher Reeves, and I am blessed with my lovely wife, my spicy Latina, Mariana Reeves.
Well, thank you. I feel like such a celebrity being here with you. Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, we gotta move that mic a little bit closer. Gotta hear that beautiful voice.
I am so excited, and you have been doing the interviews, and this time I'm going to interview you for the second time after 3 months, and I want to hear all about how you feel your podcast is going, the people that you interviewed. How does that feel?
I feel blessed and honored to have met a lot of amazing men and to have shared their stories. The relationships that I'm creating and hopefully creating for other people and seeing the opportunities that they have in front of them give me a sense of purpose. Mm-hmm. And it excites me to see what the future looks like.
That is super awesome. So far you have had 11 people. What story has resonated the most with you?
I think that's a very difficult answer to say because every one of them resonated with me. Mm-hmm. Granted, I'm probably closer to some than others. One that really stands out to me at this exact moment is Sam's. And knowing where Sam came from and what he's accomplished since us working together and us establishing a friendship and an accountability system, I'm very proud to see him go out and be on Naked and Afraid and winning it. Not only just being on it, but actually overcoming the difficulties that were there. And knowing that I had a part in his success, that means it drives a lot into me.
I think that is so important because I remember when you first met Sam and the journey, right? Because I believe is like 3-4 years.
It's been longer than that, but yeah, it's been a significant amount of time.
It feels like it was yesterday. But I just seeing how he has progressed and evolved and seeing his journey, I think that is so awesome and inspiring. And when you guys see him on Naked and Afraid, it's going to be like, oh wow, right?
Well, and there's a sense of like, not only just knowing that guy and that he's on the show, like, wow, but knowing that like you had impact in his life. Like me, I'm like, wow, like I know that I was a positive influence in his life, and it helped him do something that he can be proud of, and I can be proud of it for him too.
Right, absolutely. I don't know how much of his story we can share, but I know where the things that he has done in his life, there's certain things that he hasn't been proud. But now the trajectory of his life, how he has became this different person, and he's so at a level that, can we cut? He's beyond words. He has grown a lot as a man, and he has from a kid like to a man that he feels proud.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that any woman would want to be with him.
Yeah, and
right?
he's successfully married now and has an amazing woman in his life that supports him. And that's kind of what led him into where he was at, is he had someone that wasn't good. And he wasn't good. And, that's our opportunity as men, is learning how to take accountability for ourselves so we can be the example in the relationship.
Absolutely.
When a man is confident and he's doing what he's supposed to do and he does the things that he says he wants to do, then he brings something different to the table. And that's that type of security where he knows, there's nothing left on the table. I have no doubts about what it is that I'm doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I love that. What have been some challenges for you in this podcast?
Challenges. Oh, so people canceling last minute and having other men being willing and having the desire to come on here and share their story. It's really empowering for me to know that there's other guys out there that want to be a good example, because I didn't really see that. I thought that would be a bigger difficulty than what it is.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that we've talked about is being a man of your word. Or women, if women are watching this, which I think they all should because you're so handsome. But it's holding our word. And if we say, hey, I'm going to be there at 3, be there, show up, do your best. Don't get pulled over on the rushing here, but
don't drive 100 miles an hour in the HOV lane when it's not HOV free time.
Exactly. But back to the point of being where you say you're going to be and holding yourself accountable for that. If you can't make it because there's an emergency, we get it, things happen, but try to be there for the person that you're saying that you're going to be there. Keep your word, show up. And if you know ahead of time, don't make false promises. I think that's the thing that we try to overcommit and then we can't follow through. And I think that shows our character in some ways.
Well, and sometimes the idea of wanting to help somebody is great. You want to be supportive. You want to be that person. But when we overcommit, then it shows flaws in the system, right? And
Absolutely.
Then if it shows flaws there, where else are you showing flaws? Where else is there possibilities of incongruencies?
Yeah, absolutely. How do you find these men to come to your podcast? If there's someone out there watching this podcast and like, you know what, I resonate with what Chris is saying, I want to be part of his podcast. Do I just reach out to him? Do you find them? How does that work?
All right. So as of right now, the majority of guys that have been on the podcast are people that I respect, people that I have met through other men that I respect. And I have asked for them to come and share their stories. And because we have established a good relationship, they want to be here to support me and support what it is that I'm trying to accomplish. Now, there are some guys that I have reached out to, like Wolf. He saw what I was doing. He valued what I was doing, and he wanted to contribute to what I'm doing. And if you're out there and you want to be on this podcast, then just send me a message and let's talk. And most likely, you're going to be sitting over here to my right, and we're going to be chopping it up and sending the stories and the experiences that you have had to the people out there, and hope that we can create better examples for our families and for the communities that we all live in.
I like it. All right. So another question that I have, by the time this airs, you would have already spoken at the summit in Prescott. So what are you looking forward to? And tell me a little bit about the topic, because you're very dapper today.
Yeah.
And so tell me what you're going to be talking about.
All right, so I'm going to be talking about visual influence and the way that we present ourselves and how that affects first impressions and the way people perceive us. What I'm excited to do is I'm excited to get up and hopefully give some people some information on how they can present themselves better, how they can take care of themselves better, and they can be the best version of themselves so they can offer more to their families, to their friends, and to themselves.
Okay. All right. So first impressions. If you can sum up that speech in a few words, and I know you can because we've been practicing, what would be the number one tip that you would give that person?
The number one tip I would give that person is to establish a foundation. And the foundation is your body. Go to the gym, take care of your body. Don't sit on the treadmill unless you want to look like a long distance runner. If you want to look like a long distance runner, then by all means, get to running. But if you want to be healthier, build some muscle. Don't be afraid to lift some weights, go through the struggle and the pressure of being under some weight that you may question. Because what you're going to find out is you're capable. And once you start realizing that you're capable of doing difficult things, then that's going to spill over into the rest of your life. And you're going to start understanding that I can deal with this difficult situation at work. I can deal with this difficult situation at home. I can not have to worry because I am confident in the person that I am because I've overcome difficult situations. Yeah.
You speak so eloquently. I love it.
Yeah. Stop smiling at me.
All right.
You're getting me sidetracked.
You have already spoken. You gave him a tip, and you have several clients now. What is one way that you're holding them accountable? You have an app. You have a 3D body scanner. Tell me a little bit about those things, because I feel like those are so important tools that you have.
Absolutely. So the tools that we utilize to help our clients get the most out of their experience and to set them up for success. The first one, the one I like the most for pulling data is the 3D body scanner. And what it does, it takes out the lack of information when you just stand on a scale. A lot of people are determined to get down to an ideal weight, which is great, but unfortunately for that the scale only tells you a significantly small amount of information about yourself. I always ask, how do your clothes fit? Are they fitting better? Are they looser? Are they fitting, are you losing the inches so your clothes fit better, or they're looser, right? Because ideally the majority of us want to cut weight. Mm-hmm. And so when we look at the 3D body scanner and it scans them, we can see exactly how their body's changing through the program. And then we know where we need to make changes and what we need to do. And then the app is amazing because it allows me to give them a program that they can follow and they can track their data. They can also know what their plan is and they can plan accordingly to their day for what's ahead of them. Now, it's not just workouts. We've also got journals in it. So it asks some pretty hard-hitting questions that makes them look at what their life is going on, how the things that they want to happen in their life and how those things can happen by asking suggestive questions. And then I get to see it all, and then I get to send direct messages to them and continue the conversation. So if you don't type in what it is that you're eating, guess who's sending you a message at 4 a.m.?
And I know sometimes I'm guilty of that. The hardest part for me, because I use the app, is logging everything that I'm eating, right? I find that, one, time consuming, and two, sometimes I don't want to put on there that I just ate a cookie or a chocolate on there, but it's so beneficial because you get to see and know how you feel 30 minutes after you have eaten that. So I like that. I like that accountability that you are sending messages. And to me, you're like, you ate a cookie today. You better log that. But we also have this sheet where you can cut out the barcode, and then you have that because you can scan the barcode and it'll give you all that information about
Absolutely.
that food. So we have that sheet, and you can just tape it on there.
It's pretty cool because the app allows it's simple to use. You just have to use it.
Absolutely.
And it has to become a part of your life. And I would ask you right now, if you're not logging cookies, what else in your life are you not doing that you say that you want to change? And it's the direct reflection right there. And when we start looking at that, it's like, all right, I say I'm going to do this and I have the means to do it, but I'm choosing not to do it. And if it's something simple, what's happening with the bigger stuff?
Right, exactly. So, one of the things that I've noticed is I reduce my intake in cookies because I am logging. I'm like, he's going to tell me you're eating a cookie, you're not getting to where you want to be. So it's that accountability. And yeah, I definitely agree with you. Go ahead.
Awareness is what sets us free.
Yeah.
And the minute that we take accountability, once we are aware, is what sends us in the direction of change. And the action of being consistent with it is what changes us into being who we want to be.
Am I red? Because I ate a cookie today.
And and I think here's a common reality that happens over and over, that I get clients that get upset, like they messed up, and then they're like, I got to make up for it. You don't got to make up for anything, because in fact that it's over with and there's nothing that we're going to do about it. So the best that you can do is take a responsibility, be accountable for it, understand the repercussions of it. So if you overate, then you just added extra calories in. There's nothing you're going to do about it. All right, let's just pick up where we left off and get back on track. Because if you're beating yourself up, trying to make up for it, now you're telling yourself that you're a loser, and you're not a loser. You just made a mistake. And I can guarantee you, there ain't no one on this planet right now that hasn't made a mistake. What you can be is the person that makes a change.
Absolutely. And one of the things that we changed also was the way that we look at cheat days. We call them reward days.
Yes.
So putting a positive spin on it, I think, has also helped. Because
Absolutely.
Then we don't feel guilty, or I don't feel guilty on eating that chocolate chip cookie or that cake or whatever it may be.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, we shouldn't be sitting here looking at our actions with remorse. Like, why would we do anything that creates a negative circumstance to come back to us? Why not change it and do stuff that creates a reward for us? Like, you don't run a race not to win it, right?
Right.
So why would you do anything not to win?
You wouldn't. One cool thing that we just did with the app is that you now can link your Apple Watch to it. So that is something really cool, because with your Apple Watch, you're able to see your steps, you're able to see your calories, you're able to see all these different things, and now you have access to it as well. So that is something really cool for Apple users, right?
Apple only, unfortunately, guys.
And we do have Fitbit too before that, but
People still use Fitbit?
they do.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. So tell me a little bit about yourself and your fitness journey, because you sent me a message this morning that I think is pretty cool. When you sent me a message that you pushed more weight on leg press than you had. And one of the things that we had been battling with was you testing your might, pushing yourself and testing yourself to see what you're actually capable of versus just playing it safe.
Today in leg press, I did 310, which has been, I've been teetering in the 200s, 250. And today I was like, all right, let's go. Let's bring that down and do it again. But it shows that being consistent in the gym. I've been consistent in the gym for a while now, going every day or almost every day. and just doing a little bit more and doing a little bit more. And right now you have me on this where it's 15-5. I do 15 reps of a light weight, and then I crank it up all the way as much as I think I cannot do and go more. And then I do 5. And that has been beneficial because I was doing 10 to 15 reps before, and now it's 5. I'm like, okay, I can totally do 5 reps. I can totally do 5 reps. And whatever weight, I'm like, I'm going to do this weight. I'm like, I go one more. Right. And so that was pretty cool today. I was like 310. Okay.
So I got another question for you. And it goes in line with that testing yourself. How do you test yourself to be a better partner to me and our mission in helping men?
Why are you putting me on the spot? I try to listen more. Let me take a deep breath here. But I try to listen more and taking ownership of what I do, because I can't control your feelings, but I can control mine. And just taking ownership of whatever happened. A few days ago, we were in the car and we were just bickering at each other, and you were afraid or scared because you have this speech coming up, and so you had your own issues going on in your head, and then I had my own issues because I was trying to find an outfit and getting Cameron to volleyball and basketball, and how our week was going to be hectic because this whole week we have games, we have the podcast, we're traveling, and then we're still having to do all the house stuff and groceries and all these things. So I had my own issues, you had your own issues, and then Cameron was in the back having her own issues. And so we were just bickering at each other and we weren't listening. So stopping and listening, I think that is so important. And then just taking ownership of my feelings. I'm like, oh, it's not really you, it's me. And I'm like, and then you go, so.
And I think that's a valued point, not just for the woman, the wife, the spouse of the man, but also for the man, because I had to check myself. There was a moment in that situation where I just kept pushing it, and I had to take accountability for my own feelings and to shut up and just swallow it and be like, dude, you're creating problems for yourself. And oftentimes I feel like that people are used to being in chaos. And so then it's uncomfortable and it's easy to accept the negative attention. Oftentimes that we get more recognition for the things that we do wrong than we do right. And that's one thing that we've tried to be more vocal about is like, hey, I appreciate this. I appreciate that. So I appreciate you being honest right now and talking about this, because I know it's something difficult. And if you're out there right now and you're struggling in your relationship, the best way that you can make a change in your life is taking accountability for your actions and your feelings, just like my lovely wife said. What advice would you give to a man out there on how he could be better supportive to his spouse?
I feel like being supported shows up in different ways. And usually when I'm telling you or venting to you, I'm like, hey, I had a rough day. Cameron wasn't listening. I have all these things. Oftentimes I just need you to tell me, I understand. I know that's rough. You could come up with 10 different scenarios of like, oh my God, well, you need to wake up earlier. You can do this, you can do that. And I don't necessarily need that, right? I don't necessarily need a fix it. I just need you to hear me out and be like, shit, that sucks.
I think that's a very valid point, and it's not limited to spouses. In fact, the majority of people in our society right now, that's what they want. They want to be heard and they want to be seen. And we do stuff to get attention to us that could be negative, because that's the easiest way for us to be heard and seen. It goes back to our childhood. Most of the time, the parents work all the time and they're not around. And when they show up, it's because you did something wrong. So that's one of the things that we've tried to do differently in our family to break generational curses of recognizing when our daughter does something good and applying more attention towards that versus the negative.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of those things of breaking generational curses is being open with Cameron and talking about Cameron. Cameron's 12 right now, so she's getting into that teenage years where they're going to start dating, having boyfriends, going out, and all these things. But having that open dialogue where she can come to me and be like, hey, Mom, I like this boy, or
Yeah, absolutely.
or I have a friend that she's doing this, or my friend is being mean to me, or I have a teacher that it's doing this, and just having that open communication, right? That she feels safe coming to us, because there was often times when I was a kid that I didn't feel comfortable sharing that with my parents.
Same thing for me.
Right?
Absolutely.
So I can tell you that I know a lot more about Cameron and what Cameron's going through than my parents knew about me and what I was going through at that age.
We've also done something different than most parents do. We have a belief that we're raising an adult, not a child. And I don't want my kid to grow up as an adult acting like a child. So we've always treated Cameron like an adult. And for some of you out there, you may scream, oh, she doesn't have her childhood. Our kid plays all the time. She has games. She has friends. But we treat her as I would want to be treated. I give her respect. I talk to her with respect. Like, there's no sugarcoating. There's no things. Now, granted, she doesn't need to be involved in certain things because she can't understand them, like sexual education at a young age. There's no point for that. But for the way that we handled her, it was with respect, as we would want her to grow up into being an adult. And just like lifting weights and building muscle, it takes multiple repetition to get there. It's no different than what we do in our everyday life. And if she can learn as a child how to interact as an adult, by the time she's an adult, she'll have all the repetitions to be ahead of the people in her class.
Yeah, and just to that, it's holding her accountable. And one of the things, she has chores at home and she has grades. If those two things are not being done, what is she spending? What is she prioritizing in her day-to-day? Or, hey, you have a B or you have a C. What's going on here? Are you turning in all your work? And it's just having those daily check-ins with her of, how are you doing? How are you feeling? What's going on? Why didn't you make your bed? It's something really simple, but what did you do, right?
Right. We talked about it this morning about priorities. What's important to her, and categorizing it, putting it in a list to understand, well, this is important. Maybe I got to do my hair. I got to put some eyeliner on. I don't know. I don't do those things. But understanding her priorities and what she also needs to accomplish and how much time is it going to take to get that done. And then showing her how to schedule herself so she can get everything she wants out of life. It's just going to play later into life when she's an adult. Now, what role do you play in the example for our daughter?
I feel like I have a huge influence on that. And one, we're both female, so if I do my hair, she's going to want to do her hair. She tries to mimic a lot, and because she's an only child, she only has you and I to look up to in the household, right? She has grandma and cousins and aunts and uncles, but we're her direct contact, and what I do has a huge impact. So if I wake up late, well, you woke up late, Mom. Yep. If I don't do my hair, well, you didn't do your hair today. Why do I have to? Things like that. And so, and kids are like sponges. So if she sees that, oh, I'm eating salmon and veggies, then she's going to be more likely to eat that. But if she sees me snacking on chips and cookies and chocolate, and I can't turn around and tell her, well, don't eat those things.
So I like how you talk about what she sees. So this gets into what I teach is visual influence. And what we see is our perception. And our perception is 100% reality. And that's where social media can throw you for a loop, because it may not necessarily be true, but what you're seeing was what you believe to be true. Mm-hmm. So our kids, what they see from us is what they believe is truth. Now, as a man, it's my job to show our daughter what it is to be a quality man. And the way I act, the way I represent myself, shows her this is what is acceptable in my life. Mm-hmm. And so for the men out there, you are the responsibility for what your child believes is a adult man. This is a good example. So if you're not living up to your full potential, then you got stuff to work on. And if you don't want your kid to do those things, why are you doing it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they say that we marry our father or that we marry our mother because that's who we relate to, who we want, right?
It's who we feel is acceptable.
Right.
What we deserve.
So if as a dad, you're yelling at your wife, then your daughter is going to feel, oh, my husband can yell at me.
Absolutely.
Or my boyfriend can yell at me. Or if you bring me flowers, which you do.
Yeah, buddy.
She's going to be like, oh, my boyfriend should bring me flowers.
Absolutely.
Right?
And she also sees us holding each other accountable mm-hmm. for our bad behaviors, and we talk about it.
Absolutely.
And yeah, there's a lot of difficult situations that come from that, but she also has seen us grow. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times there's parents, and you may differ in this idea, but I want my daughter to see me hold myself accountable and see me change and evolve, so she knows that she has the capabilities to do the same. Mm-hmm. Now, you gave a good tip to men. Now, I'd like you to give a good tip to the ladies out there on how they can be better for themselves.
It starts with us. If we don't feel enough, if we don't feel like we're at the top of our game, then we're not going to be able to help our family, our husband, our kids. So that's where nutrition, fitness, and that buzzword of, what's the buzzword? I just went blank.
I don't know. The buzzword is accountability.
Accountability, but mental health and being able to sit and really take care of our own body, and then we can take care of someone else's. Like when you're flying and you put the oxygen mask, you have to put it on yourself first and then on someone else.
So this isn't limited just to women. Men out there, this is your responsibility for you to take care of yourself to the best of your ability, and then to seek help and further that. Because there's always opportunity for us to grow, for us to develop, for us to become better. And who you surround yourself with, the relationships that you establish, will determine the outcome that you get. And if you want to have more of these opportunities, continue to watch this podcast. The Man Up and Own It podcast is dedicated to you on giving you experiences and stories, and for you to learn how you can take advantage of the opportunities in your life to be the best version of yourself. It's my pleasure to have you watch this show. I want to thank you for watching the Man Up and Own It podcast.